This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ephraim Graham. The summit between North Korea and the United States could be back on. After canceling last week, President Trump says the two countries and South Korea are now at the negotiating table again. CBN's Jenna Browder is following the developments and brings us the story from Washington.
Talks are underway to make the summit between the United States and North Korea a reality. The State Department confirming a U.S. delegation is on the ground, meeting with North Korean officials. President Trump also tweeting, "I truly believe North Korea has brilliant potential and will be a great economic and financial nation one day. Kim Jong-un agrees with me on this. It will happen." This coming after the leaders of North and South Korea exchanged handshakes and hugs over the weekend. And at the White House,
we're looking at June 12th in Singapore. That hasn't changed.
Just last week, Trump canceled the summit after North Korea threatened a nuclear showdown. But North Korea also made some goodwill gestures, setting off explosions they say destroyed their nuclear testing facility. Still, Senator Marco Rubio and others aren't convinced.
It's all a show. It's a show. I remain convinced that he does not want to denuclearize. In fact, he will not denuclearize.
Denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula is President Trump's goal if the June 12th meeting takes place. Of course, that's a big if, as a lot could happen between now and then. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
Former President George Herbert Walker Bush is in the hospital today being treated for low blood pressure and fatigue. A spokesperson for Mr. Bush says he is awake, alert, and comfortable, but he is expected to remain in the hospital in southern Maine for several days. The 93-year-old has been vacationing at his summer home in Kennebunkport and recently visited a local VFW for a pancake breakfast. His wife of 73 years, Barbara Bush, died last month. First responders and rescue workers are working their way through historic Ellicott City, Maryland today. They're conducting safety checks after massive flooding there turned the main street into a raging river. The floodwaters rushed through the city's downtown, creating quite a sight, as you can see, and damaging property in its path, even sweeping away cars. However, city leaders say there are no reports of fatalities or any people missing. Pro-life groups in Ireland say they are grieving the vote to legalize abortion in the staunchly Catholic country. The Irish people voted more than 2-1 to repeal Amendment 8, which basically banned abortion. Election officers say more than 1.4 million voters said yes to the repeal, while 724,000 voted to keep it. The U.S. Catholic Association says the vote in Ireland reflects the grim influence of the culture of death. Another pro-life group called it a profound tragedy for the Irish people. One of the year's major U.S. Supreme Court cases might appear to be a fight over abortion, but it goes much deeper. The High Court's decision could have a chilling effect on free speech. Our Paul Strand brings us this story.
California legislators passed a law forcing pro-life pregnancy centers to do the unthinkable, advertise for abortion.
Issue here is, can the government mandate that a faith-based ministry, or for that matter anybody, speak a message with which they fundamentally disagree, and if they fail to comply, then fine them, penalize them, and close them down? Because that's what California is trying to do.
What's interesting is, though pro-life pregnancy centers are certainly involved in this case, their fate is not the core issue here. As one plaintiff put it to CBN News, what's going to matter is whether the justices care more about abortion or free speech.
Everybody's going to be endangered if this law is upheld, because now the government can bully their way into anybody's life and say, you must speak this message whether you disagree with it or not.
That's why Tom Glesner of National Institute of Family and Life Advocates thinks his side will win.
I was in the court when it was argued, and it appeared that even the liberal justices were very, very, very hard on the state of California.
Glesner believes the abortion industry pushed legislators to pass the bill specifically to help its bottom line.
When a pro-life pregnancy center reaches a woman's heart and she changes her mind, guess what? The abortion industry loses some money. And hundreds of thousands of women have done that over the years. That's millions of dollars that the abortion industry has lost.
Because as Glesner's been watching the pro-life pregnancy center movement grow and grow over the last 25 years, he's been watching the number of abortions go down and down.
When an abortion vulnerable or abortion-minded woman sees her unborn child on an ultrasound screen prior to making her decision, 90% of those mothers will choose life. 90%.
The court's ruling on this issue is expected in late June. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from the Supreme Court.
Coming up, a survivor who lived through shark-infested waters and the worst naval disaster in American history. CBN News introduces you to a World War II hero who remembered the angel that saved his life. This Memorial Day, we wanted to honor a man of courage who served aboard the USS Indianapolis. That naval cruiser suffered one of the worst maritime disasters in American history, sunk during World War II by Japanese torpedoes. Edgar Harrell was on board that day, and Mark Martin has his amazing story.
On a small farm in Kentucky, Edgar Harrell heard about the war in the Pacific on the radio. After listening to reports of Marines losing their lives, he wanted to help.
I thought, you know, I'm 18 years old and I'd already registered for the draft, and I thought, now I don't want to wait and be drafted. I want to get in the Marine Corps.
The heavy cruiser, the USS Indianapolis, became his home.
When I saw that big Indianapolis, you know, you can imagine the country boy what he thought of that.
Harrell saw fierce combat on the ship, events that shook him to the core. The 89-year-old vividly recalls one harrowing incident when a Japanese kamikaze plane struck the Indianapolis in the battle for Okinawa.
I can remember seeing that plane thinking that life is over. This is the end of life, because he's diving for the fantail.
Harrell survived that attack, but 9 of his shipmates did not. The Indianapolis had to return to the States for repairs. Eventually, it left San Francisco Bay, heading back to the South Pacific on what would be its final mission. On board, important components of the atomic bombs that would be dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Crew members unloaded the war-ending cargo at Tinian Island. Harrell says their next assignment was to head to the Philippines to prepare for the main invasion of Japan.
Captain McVeigh asked for an escort, and they tell him, you don't need an escort. Well, may I say, they were not telling the truth. They could have said, you need an escort. Why? Because 4 days before, we lost a destroyer, the USS Underhill. We lost 129 boys. And we were to go through that very area.
Why Navy leaders made that decision, Harrell says, remains a mystery. And that brings us to July 30th, 1945. A Japanese submarine spots the Indianapolis in the Philippine Sea and fires a spread of torpedoes. 2 hit their mark, and in less than 15 minutes, the ship goes down. Around 900 of the nearly 1,200-man crew who survived the initial attack find themselves oil-soaked, many with injuries, clinging to Kapok life jackets in the shark-infested waters.
And I thought of Mom and Dad back home. I thought of 6 younger brothers, an older sister and a younger sister, and I thought of this certain brunette that said that she would wait for me. And I told the Lord, I don't want to die, I want to live.
Harrell, who was 20 at the time, says he began to think of scriptures.
I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Seemingly that came to mind, no audible voice, but I knew that the Lord was speaking to me. Lord, you're speaking to my heart. I'm going to make it. Well, I didn't know I'm going to be out there 4.5 days.
4.5 days of unbelievable horror. No food, no water, and yet surrounded by water in all directions, along with sharks. He says shipmates not in their right mind, some because they were injured, others because they drank salt water, began to hallucinate.
He leaves the group and he gets out 50, 75 yards and you hear a blood-curdling scream and you see that kapok go under, and then like a fish cork, then that kapok brings that body back up. But by now, all the blood and more sharks, more fins, and they are kind of fighting over what was there.
Despite witnessing scenes like that, Harrell refused to give up hope. He believes God directed him and several of his buddies to a crate of rotten potatoes. The hearts of the potatoes were still edible. He also believes God sent a small rain cloud one day to provide desperately needed water.
So what do? Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. And that little rain cloud comes over and you get a few drops, maybe a few tablespoons full of water.
The brutal conditions took their toll. The number of sailors and Marines dwindled down to a little more than 300. Finally, a plane flew over the area low to the water. A miracle because the pilot, Lieutenant Wilbur Gwynn, wasn't looking for the survivors. He did not even know they were missing. No one did.
Lieutenant Gwynn goes aft, he opens the bomb bay door, and in just a flash, he looks down at the ocean below, and what he saw was an oil slick.
Flying even lower, Gwynn, who they called Angel, sees debris, sharks, and sharks attacking survivors. He radios for help, and eventually 317 crew members of the USS Indianapolis are pulled from the water. Harold spent months in hospitals recovering. After everything Harold went through, it's easy to see why he's a decorated Marine. He was even awarded the Purple Heart. Here is the letter dated August 13th, 1945. The Purple Heart is awarded by the medical officer in command to Edgar Alvin Harrell for wounds received in action against an enemy of the United States on July 30th, 1945. He went on to marry Ola, the brunette who waited for him. Harold shares his story of God's providence at schools and churches. He calls it a ministry. He and his son David also chronicled the unforgettable story in a new book, Out of the Depths.
There's not a day that goes by, many times a day, I just look up and say, thank you, Lord.
Mark Martin, CBN News, Clarksville, Tennessee.
Still ahead, he is no longer running for the New York Giants, but he is just as busy as ever. We're sitting down with football player, the former NFL, Rashad Jennings. When the NFL season begins this year, it will be the first official retirement year for Rashad Jennings. But the former New York Giants running back isn't slowing down. He's acting and he's written a new book sharing the amazing story of his rise to the NFL. And he's sitting down with us this week in Studio 5.
He's been preparing me everywhere he's taken me. And now to be in New York as a Giant. I had to overcome many Giants to now actually become a Giant.
Number 23, Rashad Jennings has officially retired and bowed out of the NFL. And while he still spends lots of time in New York City pursuing acting and sportscasting, home is Lynchburg, Virginia, where he grew up and where he still gets to spend time with his favorite lady, his mom, Deborah. You spent Mother's Day at Thomas Road Baptist Church with your mom. What was it like sharing the stage with her?
It was absolutely phenomenal sharing the stage with my mom. It's something that you don't get a chance to do every day, and traveling around and getting the privilege to speak amongst different crowds and telling my story and knowing that my mother is a significant part of it. It's cool, really. It's a neat experience to do that with her. And it truly brought more emotion out of me. I was telling my friend earlier about how much when you do that with somebody that lived the story with you, you relive it as you're talking and realize that it's not just a story, it really happened, just how we said it. And it just brings back how much God can work in your life. So, having my mom there, because she's an angel of my life. She's a butterfly that's always happy and energetic, and she hates talking in front of people. And the fact that she actually did it made me happy.
You might say football is in Rashad's blood. Both his brothers played in the NFL. He's even named after a baller, former NFL player and sportscaster Ahmad Rashad. Seen with him here in this picture. Your dad chose to name you after the football player and sports commentator Ahmad Rashad. But the two of you had a challenging relationship. What role has that played in your success?
The name Rashad definitely came from Ahmad Rashad. My mother was okay with it because she looked up what Rashad meant, and it had a strong meaning of a counselor and a wise man. And so my mom was hopes that I would live up to meet the expectations of that name. But my father and I, we did not have the best relationship growing up. Now we do. It's a lot of restoration, but I have two older brothers, 10 and 13 years older than myself. You know, I always say I was the whoops, here we go again, baby. And so I grew up with a different father than my brothers did. He retired from the military, went to alcohol and smoking cigarettes and kind of zoned out. So he was there, but physically, but mentally, I really grew up in the adolescent years without that. Really, this turning point was when I was 13 and I was hospitalized because of my asthma, blowing through a peak flow, only going a centimeter, and the doctors had told my father he can't smoke in the house or around his child anymore. And you know, a week after, my dad was smoking outside, and eventually he started coming back inside. And it was one day I was in my bedroom, man, I could smell the smoke seeping through the vents. And I started choking up. And I don't know if anybody's ever been underwater too long or almost suffocated, but it's a bad feeling when you can't breathe. And so I went up, knocked on the door, no answer. I opened it, he's in the corner drinking and smoking. 13 years old, this is the overweight, red rim glasses, chubby kid. I asked him, I said, Dad, can you stop smoking and drinking to be there for me? And he took a puff of his smoke, a sip of his drink. He said, Rashad, what do you want to do when you get older? Now, again, this is the first time my father and I ever really had interaction, so part of me is happy to tell him, and the other part knows he's just being arrogant. And so I looked at him, and I said, I want to play running back in the NFL. And he took a puff of his smoke, sip of his drink. He said, Rashad, you think you'll be able to make it to the NFL without drinking and smoking yourself? And with tears in my eyes, I looked at him, and I said, just to prove you wrong, I'm never gonna do it. And I'm 33 today, never drank alcohol a day in my life, never smoked a day in my life, and it literally was just to prove him wrong. And in doing that, proving him wrong, he watched his little knucklehead kid do exactly what he said he was gonna do, and it caused him to quit drinking and smoking. So in a strange way, my father and I feel like we both saved each other's life in that one little challenge. But if I didn't look at it that way, you know, if I would have built up hatred, I wouldn't be having this interview right now. We have a great relationship now, and the restoration came when I was in my 20s. My father was hospitalized again. He had to get one leg amputated when I was 19, another when I was 25. And while he was in the hospital, I made a promise to him. I said, Dad, I'm gonna call you every night, and before I go to sleep, we're gonna pray together. Every night. And every night we did that for a month while he was in the hospital. I knew we were making headway when one night I didn't call him. All right, it was about 10 o'clock, and I usually called him around 9 because I know he wanted to get to sleep. And it's 10 o'clock, I was out on a date, and I forgot. My phone rings, and it's an unknown number. I picked it up, and he was like, hey man, we still gonna pray together? And like I felt that. It's like, man, I've been wanting this relationship with my dad for so long, and all it took was for me to actually make the effort. It just goes to show, you know, the things that you want to do in life, a lot of times it's gonna cause you to make the first step.
Rashad's book, The If in Life, is available right now wherever books are sold. It is well worth the read. Stay with us. We're coming back with much more of CBN NewsWatch right after this. In the city of Cusco, Peru, safe drinking water is hard to find. For Francisca and her daughter Linda, stomach infections and parasites were a constant issue. That's because animals were drinking the water upstream and it became contaminated with waste. But Operation Blessing arrived at the small village to provide clean, fresh drinking water. A Cola Clarity filtration unit has removed all the harmful bacteria and parasites, leaving only smiles across those in the community. Well, right now it is time for your Monday motivation, and today I'd like to leave you with this message. It is time for us all to remember to serve each other. Lend a hand to someone in need. It is not as hard as you may think it is. Here are 3 points to consider. Serve where you are, Serve with what you have and begin serving now. With that word, be sure to make this a marvelous Monday and a wonderful week of service. That is a wrap for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about always at cbnnews.com. And we'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. Have a marvelous Monday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.